Hello, everybody. Welcome into our DawgNation Invasion. We're live here in downtown Charlotte, just steps away from Bank of America Stadium. We got quite a party going on right now. Everybody eating and drinking, enjoying themselves, some finished long drinks, some Classic City Lager, and having a great time thinking about how the Dog is going to take down Clemson coming up in just a couple of minutes or a few hours from now. I'm Brandon Adams. We'll have some DawgNation special guests swinging by here in just a moment. I'll talk to Connor Riley here in a moment. Jeff Sentell is here too. And of course, everybody enjoying beautiful weather. Really a very pleasant start to the season here. And after a year in which a lot of folks didn't get a chance to travel to games, and certainly those who were lucky enough to go weren't able to tailgate. Today feels like college football, the full magnitude of everything we've come to expect. And our DawgNation Invasion is a big part of all of that. The folks from Kroger and Meriwether and Tharp, and as I mentioned before, Classic City Lager, Finished Long Drink, obviously our friends at R.S. Andrews, all making this so much fun, so special. And really it's a great chance for us here at DawgNation to get together and celebrate with those sponsors who make all this possible, but also some of our DawgNation daily listeners and viewers, DawgNation readers who were able to be here in Charlotte. They either rode the bus with us, they stopped by the tailgate, and everybody having a good time right now. And so we wanted to give you a little bit of a peek of that on video. You may see some of the sights and sounds of this as we kind of go through our broadcast. I'll also bring in Connor Riley here. We'll talk to him a little bit about what's going to be going down and how it's all expected to play out with Clemson on the field later on tonight when we get serious and actually start thinking about football and get beyond some of the tailgating stuff. I'll bring in Jeff Sentell and all this there as well. Jeff, don't run away from here. I need you in this conversation here. So I guess, Jeff, let me begin with you on this. Obviously, the big talk here over the course of the last 48 hours, if you want to think about the on-field part of this, not just the fun and the pageantry of the tailgate, who's available for Clemson? There have been rumors, some unsubstantiated, some that seem like they might have a little bit of legs of whether it's key defensive linemen or whatever else, that seeing who exactly suits up, who exactly plays for Clemson tonight, obviously that's going to be a big part of this. And on the other side as well, you know, there's going to be some curiosity, although probably less so, for how it goes down on the Georgia side there on all of that too. So this is all just kind of part of the chatter that you get to before a big game like this.
Yeah, I think, well, first of all, I got to report live on the scene that the confidence levels of the Georgia faithful at this tailgate have somewhat spiked over the last hour and a half.
I think that confidence level has spiked right around the same time the Classic City Lager and the Finished Long Drink spiked. I think if you looked at those, and I was never very good at math, so I don't know how to like plot points on a graph very well, but if you look at these things on the graph, I think you see the Classic City Lager, Finished Long Drink moving this way, and the confidence in the game kind of also moving in a similar direction.
And I mean, you know, folks, we've all been away from this for so long. And I swear, with every breath I take, I look around and I see Clemson people, I see Georgia people, I see the flags, I see people barking, I see ladies in referee outfits having fun or whatever, calling out each fan base that walks by them. It is a college football Saturday again. And folks, I'm not trying to make you jealous, but why aren't you here tonight? Why aren't you here tonight watching this great football game?
And for those of you that can't be here, we want to give you some of the sights and sounds of being here, including here for our DawgNation Invasion event, a smashing success. Big thanks to everybody on the scene here, including our own BJ Sweeney and Jen Riley, who made this run so smoothly. But obviously, the great sponsors like Kroger, Meriwether and Tharp, R.S. Andrews, the Finished Long Drink, Classic City Lager, who've made this so great as well. Connor Riley steps in here today there too. And, you know, at some point in time, the party ends and there's a football game to be played. And there is no shortage of mystery and intrigue around how that's going to play out.
I still don't know which way I would officially pick if I had to make a prediction. I think these two teams are incredibly even. I think it's going to lead to a great game tonight. You know, I could see it being a low-scoring game. I could see it being a high-scoring game. I think these two teams really match up really well with each other, and I'm just excited that we're going to get to watch it along with 75,000 different people.
Good to see a lot of folks here having a good time and everybody having fun. And I think Connor's right. There is mystery and intrigue. And this is really what Georgia fans want. I mean, if you're playing, you know, random Power 5 non-conference opponent today, you don't get the same vibe. I mean, really, downtown Charlotte, which is a major metropolitan area, has been completely taken over by this football game, and a lot of that obviously is in red and black. You only get that for the kind of, you know, we're right across the street from a baseball field that was once named for a wrestling promoter, so it seems appropriate to say it this way. A main event anywhere in the country, that's what Georgia and Clemson is. It's that kind of vibe, and that's why you create this kind of atmosphere pregame.
Yeah, I think you're about to rip off a T-shirt, right, about what you're about to do? I mean, I'll tell you, the one stat that's like circulating percolating, let me use that word as well, but everybody who's wondering now, and this flashes back to 2015, 2017, 2012, is how are they going to stop Georgia from running the ball? I think a lot of people have fancied those stats from last year. Clemson, how they do run it against stopping the run against Notre Dame, how do they do stopping the run against Ohio State? They seem to think that the answers to the test are already there, and that's feeding the ball to the running backs a little bit tonight.
Well, Connor, you and I have talked about this when you've been on DawgNation Daily, that it's the deepest position on the team. And step aside from the moment of, well, who gets how many carries and who ranked where and how is it all divided up. Look at it as a cumulative thing for a moment when you're talking about a wide receiver, a running back core that you've got to get involved in as many ways as you can. And I don't care who ranks first, second, third in terms of the number of touches, but I do care about the total number of touches. And for these guys, I want it to be a lot for Zamir and for James Cook and for Kendall Milton and Kenny McIntosh. I want a lot of touches going around for all those guys here today. I think most Georgia fans do too.
I think we need to be talking after this game about at least 2 Georgia running backs having standout games. I think it's pretty easy to expect James Cook to be one of them with the versatility that he brings as a pass catcher. But we need to be talking about the impact that, say, a Kendall Milton, a Zamir White, a Kenny McIntosh had running between the tackles. Because Clemson, especially if Tyler Davis isn't able to go, as has sort of been rumored and suspected, I think Georgia might, while there are some questions along the offensive line as a pass blocking unit, I think running the ball, they potentially might be able to open some things up with Tate Ratledge and Cedric Von Prawn there in the middle of the Georgia offense.
And Jeff, let me be clear about this. When I talk about getting running backs involved, I'm not talking conservative game plan, because in 2021, you use creativity to get those backs involved, whether it's occasionally throwing to them, getting them on some outside runs, and just being dynamic in how you call those running plays. A lot of running backs touching the football today doesn't mean 3 yards in a cloud of dust. It can mean 3 yards, 4 yards, 35 yards, depending on how it gets broken up. But the chances to break the big plays today, with all due respect to Georgia wide receivers, who I have, high hopes for too, but the best chance at the big plays probably comes from the running backs as the balloons blow into our shot here. It's that kind of party. We got balloons, we got everything else. And we're
balloons falling from the sky.
So far, but the point is, it doesn't have to be conservative to get running backs involved. There are creative ways to do that too.
So one of the things I did on DawgNation today is I looked at you used a wrestling metaphor, let me use a boxing metaphor, kind of the tail of the tape, and I looked at where the players are at. Where has Georgia got the guys that Clemson doesn't have the guys? And one of the areas where I think Georgia has a clear advantage is the stable of running backs. You look at the top 150 players in the country that were signed to either one of these teams. There's only one guy from Clemson that was a top 150 overall prospect at running back. Sure, you know that name.
Yeah, of course.
That's Will Shipley. But Georgia, you're going to throw Kendall Milton there. You're going to Zamir White there. You're going to throw, a lot more guys. James Cook is another guy that was all those guys were top 50 overall prospects. And that's the one area. I know everybody wants a new Georgia, an air raid Georgia, but Georgia's backs, Georgia's run game, the big check mark in the checkbox goes to Georgia there.
And the other thing, Connor, if you want to bring recruiting into this, it's not a surprise that Clemson has questions about its offensive line. We'll see how that actually plays out during the game today. But look at some of the high-profile misses Clemson's had when it comes to recruiting offensive linemen. At one point in time, the Tigers thought they were in the battle for Jamari Salyer. That's obviously won by Georgia. You can cite other names for players who end up elsewhere that Clemson was down to the wire in. That player just chose somewhere else. For whatever reason, Clemson's won its share of recruiting battles in almost every position group. Last couple of years, there have been some high-profile misses for Clemson along its offensive line. They've signed fewer linemen than you might realize, and the fact that you're talking about a game today in which they're not quite sure who their starting five is going to be, not a surprise if you follow the recruiting ranking.
How about another name, Clay Webb, a guy that was considering Clemson out of the state of Alabama, and it's really a non-factor on the Georgia offensive line at this point in time. I think that goes to show both the depth on the Georgia offensive line right now. For Clemson, I know a comment that caught a lot of people's attention is Dabo Swinney saying this week, hey, we're going to rotate centers because we're still trying to figure out who gives us the best chance to win there. If you're rotating centers trying to figure out who gives you the best chance of blocking Jordan Davis, that's going to drastically impact your chance to win today. And this Georgia defensive line, because they were so deep and so talented, Davis is just naturally going to command double teams. And so I actually look for a guy like a Devontae Wyatt or a Jalen Carter to get matched up in one-on-one situations and have a great chance to win and take advantage of those because Davis is such a commanding force in the middle of the defense.
As we finish up here, how much fun is it for you to see what's going on here with DawgNation Invasion? all kinds of folks enjoying food, watching games. Obviously, the bars are very popular right now, as you might imagine. How much fun is it for you to see all the folks here dressed in red and black, having a great time, and being a part of a DawgNation Invasion event once again?
So last year when I had to watch all the games from home because of COVID and whatnot, I bought a 70-inch television just to at least feel like I'm somewhat close to the action. This blows that out of the water, to actually be around people, to see them again, to have a real college football atmosphere. It's just so great to experience that in person. And I hope as the season progresses, everyone at home gets to partake in this as well.
And how about for you, Jeff? You know, you and I have been a part of a lot of these. I don't know, it's been more fun than it's been today. Perfect combination of weather, the atmosphere, the excitement. You obviously hope it continues to feel this way come midnight tonight. But for now, everybody having a great time.
Yeah, I'm going to say this. I don't think I'll ever take a moment like this for granted again. I mean,
right.
For us, it felt like work. Let's go do this. Let's go cover a big game. I'm just really slowing today down and just kind of Polaroiding a lot of things because, man, what I would have given to be doing this last year, even for not even a Clemson ESPN national primetime game, but a rudimentary SEC East opponent, something like that. And we've got a granddaddy type game, as Keith Jackson, the late, great Keith Jackson used to say.
So we'll let you go for now, but remind you, a lot of coverage throughout the day. I'll see you for the Kroger kickoff just before the game. We'll show you the Georgia players and coaches as they arrive at the stadium. I'll see you tonight for the DawgNation postgame show as well. That's presented this year by the UGA bookstore. Excited to break all of it down with Terrence Edwards after the game. Connor Riley's got great coverage throughout the game, including special behind-the-scenes look at what's happening on the sidelines. Jeff Sintel very much the same way when it comes to all of that. Of course, DawgNation.com, the DawgNation Forum. Forum.DawgNation.com. We're busy throughout the day, but for now, we're going to enjoy a little bit more of this party. DawgNation Invasion, a sincere, hearty thank you to everyone who's made it possible, especially our friends at Kroger, R.S. Andrews, Meriwether and Tharp, the Finnish Long Drink, Classic City Lager. It's a great party. They're the reason why that's true. We wish you could be here, but we wanted to bring you a taste of it on video nonetheless. I'll see you back here in a moment for the Kroger kickoff. Enjoy game day, everybody. Thanks for being with us on DawgNation.